Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza Creates. So I've been having a play with scraps and I thought, why don't I film it? So I'm making, these are finished, but I sort of put them together just as sort of neutral, not really for any particular project. And then you can then go in later and add a few bits and make them for a particular project. They're just scraps. Now I'm going to show you how I'm going to use this one straight away. So I'm designing them for being like tucks on a journal page. I've had that scrap there for ages and I knew I wanted to use it for something, and now I am. Now, because the scraps and it's quite flimsy and I want it to hold something in place, I've just reinforced the back with a bit of book page. I gutted a book and I got loads of the sheets left over. I didn't throw them all away. They're thicker than some pages, but they're not as thick as like thin card, if that makes sense. So added, it makes it quite, quite a good edge for popping something in. This was just printed on 120 GSM paper, which like most of it, the printed bits were, and then obviously digitals, that's just music paper, so that's quite thin. So I've just added a little bit on the back here because I wanted that to go over the page so you'd see it from the back, and I wanted it to look pretty. So I'm going to show you how I intend to use that. So this is the journal I'm working on at the moment. This is Eastern Promise by Rachel and Bella Crafts. So I made all the ephemera last month as my design team project, and so now I'm putting the journal together, and I just like that. So this is the book that I gutted, and I made this page. I think this video might be already out, and I just liked it in there, so I bunged it in there. I thought it went quite well. With this, I've picked out this pinky flower. I made this by shrinking down the journal pages and added another one to the back to make a nice journaling card. And so my idea is I'm just going to put that on the side of the page, and then that will as a tuck to hold it in, and I think that will look very nice. So I'm probably going to do something with this page. Let me just do it now. I've got my page open. Let's pick out a stencil. That's what I thought I'd do. Where's that one? Because I like that one. Oh, it's tucked behind there. There we go. So I'd sort of use all the stencils so I know what they're going to look like. I just thought that went really nice with like the Eastern theme. So I'm just going to put it in the middle of the page, and I'm just going to randomly, no idea how much ink is on this brush. There we go. Just so that it's not plain. I'll probably do that on all the pages. This is, well, what is this called? No, that's not the front page of it. Is it even in here? Oh, I've probably chucked it out. Oh, I'm useless. Anyway, it's one of Stampin' Up masks in the annual catalogue. I can't remember what it's called. Useless. So that is going to get stuck on the edge of the page. So where I've sort of reinforced it, I'm going to stick it on there and have that poking out the other side, which I think will look nice on that side of the page. So I want it so that it will tuck under. So I'm going to stop the glue about halfway. So what I'm going to do is, I've never done one of these before. I've seen other people do them, well, show them in like flip throughs, and I thought, oh, I quite like that idea. Never done it. So I'm going to do a little bit of pencil there, so I kind of know up to where I want my glue. So sort of there, and then go straight down. And then we want to go about halfway here. Put plenty of glue on it, because if it's a tuck spot, it's going to be in and out, shake it all about, innit? So there we go. So I might do it from this side so that I can see where the glue is. Yeah, and then I'll come over this side just to double check and make any adjustments to it being straight that is required. Yeah. So that's that on the page there. All the pink goes nicely with the pink that's on there. Open it over. We've got a nice little bit coming off the end, and then this can just go in there and be held in, and that's a page finished. Absolutely marvellous. Love it. Little flap there, room for writing, do whatever there if you want to do anything. That's it. That's me. That's how I was going to use them. They could also be used, like, imagine that was a tag, just to the top of a tag as well. That would equally look lovely. So there we go. I am going to untuck that just in case that glue hasn't yet dried, because that would be a disaster. So that one isn't finished, because I want to make some that are plain. I've got lots. I sort of went through my scrap box, pulled out some scrappy bits. I've got some other scrappy bits in here, some sort of smaller scrappy bits, and these sort of bigger scrappy bits. And yeah, so that is how we're sort of started. I kind of started with a fairly good base, so something like that. Oh, that's been backed as well. So we've got a bit of ripping going on here. So that's, have I got a rippy at the top? No, so I might just do that. So that is a good start. And then I can add maybe a bit of book page to that. I want the edge straight for the bit that's going in, and I don't mind the other side being not straight. Might even, there we go, go down to there. So I just kind of picked out 3 things. I do like the look of this. So there we go, put a bit of that on there. So that was kind of how I went, picked out 3 bits. So let's do another. I like that. That was a book. So we've got our straight side there. So let's rip it down. Don't like the top to be too, I mean, I have done the top straight on the others, but there we go, like that. Let's have some music paper on this one. So not thinking very hard, just grabbing and ripping. There we go. I want to still see that leaf, so it'll come out a little bit. My don't we have a little bit of map on there? In this can be two things. Right, don't want the red on there. I like the look of that. I'm thinking a little bit, I know I said 3 bits, but I can change my mind. Put that on there, I like it. So that's that. Shall we do 3? So, oh yes, I had this. I like that. Like that. Some leaves there. What haven't I used from this pile here? Oh, I've got some. What have I got in here? Quite liked that. Bit busy, so maybe not. So if I use that, I need something to break it up. I could use one of these again. Along the edge. This is just the edge of a pad, you know, when you pull the pad out. Quite like that. Might got a bit of brown paper here. Put that on there. Right, there we go. So that is those bits. I've now got really, really small scraps there. Some of which probably aren't worth keeping, but you know. There we go. So got this. So those are the ones I made before. So now let's just start sticking down. I'm not inking anything because I do it after. Like that. I'm not going to do glue on all of it because it's going to go over the edge. Back there, over the edge. And we're going to stick that down there. Now I am just going to fiddle with that till it looks straight. Yeah, I think that's about right. So there we go. So that's that bit. Now I don't feel that is strong enough, so I'm using this. So I want this to go along the edge to make it stronger. You don't have to, if this was just going to be a cluster for the top of a tag, I wouldn't be bothering. I wouldn't be bothering with this step, but to be a tuck that's going to go, you know, it's going to be a tuck spot, I felt it needed a bit of this. And if that's going to be seen on the other side, we want another little bit down there that looks pretty. So might come in with another bit of packaging down there. Which will also add a bit more bulk. I'm going to rip that bit off. Yeah, do what you want, Jess. I will. Thought you might. So I'm not going to put this edge on all of them, but I just wanted to show my thoughts and what I did. So I've put it on all of the others. There we go. So now that's super fun. We can see a little bit underneath, but that's nice. So this is going to go on the back there, and then we can see the line. That's where it's going to be. I'm just going to cut down a little bit. Actually, that's where we're going to be stuck to the page, sort of halfway along there. We're going to see that and not the rest. But that's just adding to the strength of the tuck. I may not need to do this, but something made me feel I had to. So that is my tuck done, and I'm going to do the inking afterwards. So these ones I'm not going to bother with the reinforcement. I'm worrying about how it looks at the back. I'm just sticking it all down, so they could end up as just clusters with the top of tags rather than tuck spots. Well, that's going to go off the top a bit, so I'm not going to go all the way to the edge at the top. It's just going down like that. Mop at the back. And then we'll do this last one. Oh, now I've turned it over. I prefer the look of that. Don't know why, just did. So we've got a mixture of digitals, vintage books, vintage music. That's like a floral book. English garden is maps, ledger paper, some vintage ledger paper there. Some file paper. That's what this is, the edge of file paper that's just been ripped off. Do you know, I turned that over because I like the other side. Now I've like covered it all up. But that's what you do. Right, let's just rip a bit of that off the bottom. So I've got Tracy labels on the other one. They're the fill-in ones, and I had lots of fun stamping on them. Make some of your own, doesn't it? Doing that. So that's that done. So now I'm going to bring in that, and I'm just going to ink with my brush, and that gets all the edges done. It turns that white bit all vintage looking, and then on the back here I'll just do it there. There we go. So that's that bit ready. So makes quite a bit of difference then when you ink. It kind of brings it all together, makes it all blend nicely together. Going over the back, even though I'm not doing that section on here. All the nice edges that are ripped are picking up the ink really well. And that is that. I also did a bit of stamping. So I've got a nice text stamp, which I've managed to get a bit of paper on. So I like to do pebble path here. So I'm going to ink that up. That is going to be very dark. I don't want it that dark, so I'm going to stamp it off first, and then I'm going to go on there. It's actually upside down, although I'm not quite sure how I want to use this. But, you know. So just add a little bit of something doing that, and then you can dress it up with all sorts. So I've got Tracy labels there, some of her printed labels and some that I've done myself. I've got a load of Tracy weathered stone ephemera here. They've got all sorts of things that I could use, and I've got some of the stuff that I cut out from Eastern Promise, which I'm much, you know, look in there. Those colours are telling me to use that. Yeah. Not in its entirety maybe, but yeah, that's saying use me, Jez. And I've got these stamps that are made, because then they'd put over there, they'd sort of go with my Eastern Promise journal that I'm doing. And I've got some of Rach and Bella Crafts freebies. Quite like the look of that. I like it more than that stamp, to be fair. Taking that stamp off. And that sort of ripped slightly. Well, it didn't rip slightly, Jez, it ripped completely in half. I'm not sure. Not sure. Let's have a little look. Got something in here that I could use. No, wrong colour. I need something with green in it. green or neutral. You're not doing it for me. I might just get a green label. Put that green label. Yeah, just going to put that green label on it. And I've got some, no. Yeah, we'll do that. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut this in half because it's quite big, and I'm slicing in half because that is how I wanted it. So I could put it on the edge there, like that, quite like that. The only thing that it hasn't got is a bit of inking down that edge. I think I inked everything else on it. Liking how that's looking. So I'm doing these because I'm actually making a journal, so these would match nicely in for it. But having them like that, so they're ready, do you know? Yeah, no. And that's also a good idea. Do we want the whole of that on there? I do like the way that looks, but I like that flower. I'm just thinking. Just thinking. Changing my mind. And I'm allowed to change my mind. You can also put lace and things on. I haven't done that. Don't know where my sponge doorbell went, but it went. It went somewhere. Everybody had gone to bed early last night, and I'd watched Casualty, and it was like, well, I'm not ready for bed, but there's nothing else I want to watch. So I just thought, oh, let's go and have a play. So I made some of these, and yeah, I might have dropped a bit. Might have dropped some things on the floor. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. So I've got another little, let's have a little look where I might put, he can go in there now. Yeah, so I've got a pocket there, could put something on here. Put that on there, and it doesn't have to fold up. Did I reinforce that one? I reinforced that one, so I could put that one on there, and you could still tuck something in it. I think it's got enough layers under there to not require. So I could, you can't really see, can you? So I could stick that in there, and I could probably find a word at some later point. I think I sometimes think too hard about things. I'm not putting it right on the edge. Yeah, go on. Right up to the edge. But it's not that straight. There we go. And then what can we tack under there? So I've got all the bits, just put them in a box here, that I had previously made. Have I got some in? Something that would go with those colours. That's a pocket Jez, as is that. I don't know what colours they are, Jez. Yeah. No. That one. Love that one. We've got that nice blue there. I think that works. That works okay, but I'm not gonna leave it in there. Now we've got something bluey. We've got that blue there. How about this one? Be off the edge a little bit so we can see that off the edge. We've got a bit of music there. Quite like that. It's quite a stiff book page there, so I don't think it needs reinforcing. These can also be stitched. I'm going to go on this side so that I can see the bit that's coming over the page, and then just readjust this side for it being straight. I can't believe I'm making a decision to stick this in my journal. I made these the other day, and oh, that was the other thing I did last night. I stuck some of them in. So that's that. So let's get, I've got, oops, journaling cards with these on it. So let's pick one. Let's see which one I'm going to use. So we have got one that matches. That may be a little bit too much, Jez. Probably could put something smaller on. You know, there's a bit of me. I like matchy-matchy. There's a bit of me that quite likes that. I may change my mind, but for the moment, that's what I'm going to go for. Yeah, quite like that. Again, I'm going to take it out. So there we go. That is how I'm using. I think that'll be dry now. These in a journal. So a way of adding a journaling card without actually having a pocket, and it looks good on the side of the page. Really easy to mass make and have them, you know, without the extra decoration. And yeah, and then when they're decorated up, they're still pretty neutral. They can go in any journal. And then the other way I did it which I'm just going to show you, was I had bits like this. So there's half of one. And I used them sort of as the foundation. I could have used a ticket as a foundation as well. So took something like this, ripped it, rip it in half, and there we've got two foundations, one going on the left side and one going on the right side. Just gonna remind myself, yeah, so like that. Okay, so that's going to be the straight side ready to be the tuck. So then we want something to add to it, so we'll go to here. Why don't we have down a bit of this? It's quite light, so this brown paper underneath it. Let's go like that. Liking that. Right, on this side, let's have a little look, see. Music. If music be the food of love. Bit of music, let's rip this side. Stick that there, I like seeing that. Right, now what should we put on there? Again, it's quite light, so quite like something a little bit dark on it. I was going to use this as a foundation, but I can still use it as a foundation. Just take a little strip. They're cool clusters. This needs something on top to make it pop, but we can do that in a minute. Right, and then let's have some mini ones here. I think a little bit of that on there. Put a map there that's got a bit more blue in it. That's a bit samey, Jazz. Yeah, I think I might go with this bit. Using scraps, creating scraps. That's how we roll. So, 2 tickets, 2 maps. So we want something else with that. So where is, we've got a little bit. A little bit of this. then on this one, I might do a little bit of this. That is where we're going with that lot. So I'm just going to stick these all down. So that's them all stuck down. So now we'll just add our ink to it. So there's that one. That one. That one. That one. So that is how I'd have them in my stash, all waiting to have something added to them, and then you can add to them ready to go on something. So here we have a tag. That one's been reinforced. These have all been reinforced to use on something. Doesn't matter. So that could be the top of a tag or a pocket even. Got some book page on there from something. I might be inclined to just sew up the back of that, but that is the idea. They would make nice tags. Got a few tags here ready. Not a lot needed doing to them for them to be complete. Just maybe add a little word, and we are good to go. So hope that was useful, and I will finish off that journal. Might bring you some more videos working on that Eastern Promise journal, but I will certainly bring you a flip through. So thanks for joining me. See you all again soon. Bye for now.